American truck simulator. I'm David Steele, and here's my truck. Let's go ahead and fire it up today. Here we go. Well, those are the dulcet tones of the Mack E7, an engine that didn't even feature in my top 20 most driven engines last year. If you're wondering why I'm bringing in the ranking of my engines, let's just say that I might possibly log all the trips I make in ATS. And some interesting observations of the trucks and the engines I drove last year. But that's for another video. Today, we are going to be riding around in a what-if truck. And to explain what I mean, what if we bought a very early Mack Pinnacle? And in this case, I'm actually going to go ahead and upgrade it a little bit. I'm going to just change some of the bits and pieces around. Yeah. What if we bought an early Mack Pinnacle, and it happened to come with a Mack E7, because who doesn't like a Mack E7? Well, I'm sure a few people do. So, first things first, let's go ahead and get it in the shop, so to speak, to use an American term. Go ahead and do this. Now, the interior, I can't change the interior, unfortunately. It does have the M drive dash. All the Mack Anthems and Pinnacle day cabs have that. But it already comes with the heavy-duty tires and the wide, well, the wide front tires. It's configured more for vocational work, but I want to tweak this a little bit. Let's go into here. Let's give it the classic grille, like so. As far as the front bumper goes, I don't think I need a big chrome. Well, no, I don't think anyone needs big chrome. It's like, it is not my thing, I don't think. Could be useful. Flares, more of a thing back in the early 2000s. I'm going to suppose that it is. It's vocational, so you want to be visible. We might change the paintwork. I quite like this sort of green that we've got going here, but I think I can change it for something a little different. We have flares on the side. The deflectors, we wouldn't need those. Oh, I've got to give some air horns. I mean, clearly you need air horns for vocational work, right? Bigger's not always better, but we're going to go for the super raw. So I think everyone needs a bit of super raw in their life, if you know what I mean. Got the beacon, the hoods is the fine. Now we are running an all Mack powertrain today, so we'll go for the Bulldog with pedigree. If you're a Mack aficionado, you'll know exactly why. You have a gold one. All I know is it comes with gold, if or bronze or brass, or is it gold? Doesn't say. Yeah, so we don't want to worry too much about those details. I think we'd use a standard flap. Alright, I don't know, let's try a different paint job first. So part of me is thinking, I've got this wonderful pink, purple, orange, metallic. I say wonderful, I'm growing quite fond of this particular colour scheme, and it's certainly bright. I mean, I would say you're not going to miss it, but you could. Can't change the interior that much. I can add something to the seat, but I don't think I can add, no. Stack of burgers, I don't think so. We'll go with classic mirrors. Okay, so I think that's good enough. Go ahead and do that. Oh, if you can hear that, that is a smoke alarm, so I'll be right back. Okay, it would have been tempting to have just left it at that, assuming the smoke alarm makes it through the noise cancelling effect. But crisis averted. All right, let's go ahead and fix the Mack up. All right, we are going to go and do some. Well, I'm not going to say it's a vocational hauling for sure, because we won't know till we get there. We're going to go and explore and see if we can do some vocational hauling. So, what a beauty. Alright, enough of that. So, we'll drive this thing manual today, because that's our role, which could be a real challenge. Okay, so here we go. Well, I hope everyone's doing well. I think this is my first ATS video of the year. And if it is, then Happy New Year. If I have done one before, it's a nice looking anthem. Oh, look at the black bodywork on that. I'm experimenting with a few things on my machine, one of which is just getting the thing to run smoothly, which has been a challenge, even with a lot of the optimization work I've done. And it's getting a little old, quite frankly. But right now the game is running at 60-ish frames per second, but it's not particularly smooth. It's a bit of a janky experience, but we'll see if that translates to, one, to YouTube, to of course, OBS Studio. Let's try moving off in third. Tall. I've not got much fuel, but I'm in everyone's way here. I'll be fine. How much fuel do you need, right? Well, I mean, I might need a bit more. Okay. Right. So we're actually near Bellingham. It's the very northwest corner of the map. It's Washington State, and there's a back way to get to this forestry section that we're gonna visit today. We're gonna climb up the hill, or up the mountain, I suppose you might say, and see if there's anything going. But really, I just want to go out and just explore with the Mack Pinnacle for once. And, I've not driven manual for a time. We should look left there. So it's just a challenge, quite frank. It's not speeding as well. As for under the hood, yes, it's a Mack E7, and it's the 400 horsepower version. It's 14 60 foot-pounds of torque, and that's it's quite a decent amount. Yes, the Pinnacle was originally launched with the MP7. That's an 11-litre engine, and that was available with quite a bit less than 400 horsepower. I think 325 was the lowest vocational spec, at least the one that I found. This is a 12-litre engine, 12-litre class. 400, it was available with the 460 XT, and it's not an AMD graphics card. That is, it was I guess a limited edition Mack E7, and Mack ended up having to essentially, I think they had to soft recall them. What I mean by that is, well, they took the E7 460. Oh, I can block shift, I can skip a gear. They took the 460, and they decided it needed more power, so they made the 460 XT, and I think it's officially rated at 490 horsepower. But you talk to enough Mack enthusiasts and they tell you it's really 507, which is a pretty chunky amount for you know, an 80s and 90s vintage engine, really, or 2000s it went up to. And I've given it a bit of a, let's say, a racy feel. It's a semi-engine, it's not a racy feel, but I've made it feel, I would say, invigorating. But the reason why they had to soft recall it was because it kind of fell a little bit foul of the regulations, of the emissions regulations, and so they offered everyone some servicing on it that detuned it. We don't have to worry about that today, because we're not using that engine. We are using 400, so yeah, like I say, rated at 400 horsepower. 1560 foot-pounds of torque, and we're using a 13-speed Mack MaxiTorque overdrive manual gearbox here today. This is a 419 final drive, or 4.19, which is, I want to say usefully short, and that is not a short person joke. What we mean there is, I mean it's got plenty of gears for the low speed range, which is what you need with a fairly low powered engine. Now, I don't think that this is particularly low powered, but it's going to benefit me, especially if they've got something like a 119,000-pound log stacker or something up here. In top gear, it's going to be doing about 1400 RPM at 55, give or take. I might have that slightly skewed, but you know, it's sort of 13, 15, 1400 revs. So it's not built for the interstate, but I mean, if you want to haul a heavy load with logs or something, you might not want to exceed 55 miles an hour. I mean, you might do, but you probably shouldn't. So I'm hoping it's geared appropriately. It's also a Mack, and they will kind of pull anything. So we'll see what's available, and if something's available, how well we can. I went with the twin stacks because well, I figured for its day 400 was a pretty reasonable output. And you don't always go for the double stacks, the double exhaust for performance reasons. You might go for noise reasons. Then again, it might be noisier with two stacks. Well, I guess what? I believe the game simulates something to do with different exhaust options, but I don't think it does noise. Though that said, I suppose I can find out. Now, as well as the errant smoke alarm going off, there's going to be a little bit of background noise today. I'm curious as to if it gets through the noise cancelling. If you didn't pick up, and I didn't particularly broadcast this, but at the time of recording this, I just moved house. And moved house, there's a Christmas, New Year period, and that apparently is a great time to move house. It's not a good time to move, it's never a good time to move. So the settling in process, and of course everyone's back to work, and you're back to unpacking boxes in the evening, and generally not producing content, but got a bit of a hall pass, you might say. Controls buzzing around in my hands. My hands are going buzzy, innit? Also, it's Tuesday day, innit? So, yeah. Been a busy couple of weeks. I knew I wouldn't be able to put enough content up to keep the channel turning over at one video a day, and I also realized that's okay. It really is completely fine. Tell you what, I mean, I'm chattering away. Whoa! Chattering away going up this hill. It's hard to change gear when I'm going up the hill. Or rather, know what gear I'm in. Let's go back to the cabin. I messed that up, royally messed that one up, but there we go. I guess I was in the crawl gear. Okay, skipped a gear there. That might not have needed to. Right, well, I'm actually showing 60 to 80 frames per second, but OBS will be recording to 30. That looks like a heavy cargo right there. We'll like us a bit of that. All right, let's see if we can grab it. Also some logs. The logs are fine, I mean, it's boring. That big, I don't know what, I forget what it's called, but that enormous big logging machine, that's what we want to tow. It just depends on how far the trip is as to whether we can take it or whether bring everyone along for the ride. Who wants to go for a ride, kiddies? Let's check in at the Deep Grove. It sounds like a... Can I say that on YouTube? It sounds like a strip club. Actually, it doesn't really. Right, I'm going to go check in with the foreman and let's see what he's got. So, freight market. What have we got going on here? So we got a log stacker. I was right, I was a log stacker. But it's 765 miles. That's a long way to go. And it's too long for a video, really. Wood shavings. It's not really long. I mean, a dumper RM double, I think that's probably not going to be a very heavy cargo. No, 11,500 pounds of wood shavings, it's really not much. 11,000, okay, that's not right. All right, there's not much here that really interests me. I like the idea of the log stacker, and it's a nice weight, but that's a long way to go, and it's too long for a video. And I might decide to cancel the video, but at the same time, I'd want to continue that trip because that's what I do. Let's try external contracts. World of Truck side of things. So we can take Christmas craft wood. Well, we could, but I don't feel like doing that. Logs to Port Angeles. Yeah, that's an interesting trip. It's not heavy enough. Wheel loader. Long, but not that heavy. A top grinder's not a bad choice. It's a little far, but top grinder's a choice. A bulldozer is also a reasonable choice as well. Same distance. Well, that's a lit. Wait, what does a skidder do? Okay, if you know what a skidder does, leave it in the comments below. But it sounds dodgy. Okay, we've got 400 miles JCB, 457 to Coeur d'Alene. We speak French now. Oh la la. Wheel loader. Yeah, wheel loader's not bad cargo, I suppose, but eventually it wants me to take a ferry. And I like boats, don't get me wrong, but well, then again, maybe the skidder to Belling to Seattle. It pays well. I'm not surprised if you got to deal with someone's skids. That's probably quite sensible that it pays well. All right, I think we will actually do the easy option, which is either the skidder or a wheel loader. I have a preference. I think skidder because of the name. It's pretty cool. The shorter trip's okay. I like short things. All right, that's me waffled on for a bit. So £44,500. Go ahead and grab the job. I'm gonna take a swig of energy drink.
Drive safe.
Okay. We don't know quite where it is, but it'll be behind us somewhere. Hopefully. Get some nice pretty views of the exterior here. Okay, there it is. It's down here. I suppose we should turn on our beacons. First. Second. The game is running champion right now in external view mode. Gently ease it past these wood shavings. Yeah, I could have taken the wood shavings, they would have been okay. Right, there's our skidder. I don't see where it skids. Yeah. Into reverse. It's a little tight to get in there. So I'm not going to drop the suspension just yet. We'll ease it around here. Oh, I haven't checked the horns yet, but I'll do that when I leave. Super short gearing here. I guess it's designed to push that 119,000 pound cargo back and not really break a sweat. Let's go ahead and drop the suspension height. Lightly to ground the truck right now, but just inching along, it'll be okay. Go. Interesting, it doesn't quite look like we're touching the ground, but there we go. Just the right height, get the trailer connected, like so. Right. Okay, that's actually part of that horn. Okay, I don't think I'm going to need to use the crawler gear to move off, but I don't fancy making that left turn, so we'll just go straight ahead and see how well it goes. Yeah, it's pulling it fine. Oh, that's bad. I'm about to run over that log there. It's a full lock, then I think, yeah, they do fine. Okay, we cleared that. Just trickle my way around here. I just almost choked on something then. Let's get my windows down. I'm going to stick my head out the window and just check the clearance here. Easy clearance. Well, it's been very forgiving. I upshifted from sort of 1600 revs in a second, dropped the revs right back down to 1000. I didn't really care. So that kind of works for me. So what does the chase view look like? The drive back view. A little hairy, really. I could completely mess this up. Engine brake works remarkably well at all sorts of speeds. The governor works well as a brake too. You need gov. Right, let's let gravity take us down the hill, and we'll just cycle through the gears one by one. We'll short shift it. I think the theme of today's trip is going to be short. Very short trip as well. But got a couple of chicanes and a short sprint between them. If we were rallying, this would be like, I don't know, a switchback, EZ7 or something. I don't know what the terminology is. But we're asking the engine to get us up the hill, and we eased off there. The revs are dropping to about 1000, but it's stumbling now. Let's drop a couple of gears. Because when I lift off to change gear, I lose speed. I only dropped one gear now. I meant to drop two, but I didn't. Starting to just bog down a little bit here. I can raise the ride height, and it gives me a bit of let's do a little bit of extra clearance. That can be useful. There we go. I'm now at full ride height. Now, if anything, if the truck or indeed the trailer's catching on anything, that can help. I'm just going to leave it in fourth. I think it's flexible enough. Corner we go. Now lift off completely here. So what I want to avoid is the trailer catching the ground. This is not good for the trailer. Let's use the engine brake. Oh wow. Let's turn the engine brake down to stage 1. That was a little excessive there. That's the truck around the corner there. The autocorrect on the view is auto-correcting nicely. Yeah, this is it's going great. That's pretty epic. Cycle through the gears. A bit of engine brake here. This is engine brake, setting 1. Yeah, and it dropped 2 gears. Now, I don't think I had is it smart shift turned on? I'm pretty sure that that's turned off, but it's behaving like I told it to shift down 2 gears. No, it didn't. I'll worry about that later, but right now I'm happy just to be going down the side of a mountain in a Mack. A little bit of engine brake, stage 1, yeah, this mountain texture has most definitely changed. Off the engine brake. On the side, yeah, very, very pretty. Very dangerous to drive like this, but very pretty. Tree, oh, another tree. Yeah, let's get back in cabin. There's not really, you wouldn't think, taxing the Mack to take this cargo down the hill, and indeed it really isn't. But what it could be taxing is to the engine brake, to the transmission, especially if you shift down and use the engine brake. You're asking a lot for the transmission and the drivetrain. Equals the service brake, so your discs or your drums in the wheels and tires. So just going down a steep gradient can be kind of demanding on the truck, and the driver's got to maintain control. If this were raining, it'd be a lot harder because it could be slippery. You can probably hear a buzzing, and that's the controller skipping around in my hands. For engine brake, but I'm just letting it push me down the hill now. Narrow bridge, okay. I don't think it's that narrow. Maybe. It's back on the power, hard on the power, but shift down. That was definitely 2 shifts down, and I meant to shift down, so that was good. Okay. I'm happy with this. I'm getting a little little bit of stutter from the game, but it's chugging along at 75 frames per second. And I think that the monitor, it's a G-Sync monitor, should be able to cope with it, but it's struggling. Feeding in the power right now. And I'm going to lift off and engine brake it up to the corner. That's full on engine brake. Downshift a couple. Check the corner. Keep it bumbling along. Go. Sort of 1,000 revs is not really where this engine performs its best, but it is happy enough. To be fair, let's drop down the revs again. But I'd be curious to see how well this works with taller gearing. But so far, this feels a very nice set of ratios for tackling this kind of helmet. I think the highest I've been is like 9th gear. Downshifted a couple of gears and managed to catch it at about the 1300 revs. So that's definitely useful if you can avoid the revs falling below around about 1150, 1200 RPM. The Mack is a lot happier. In the lower gears, you can get away with using lower revs, but it really wants that sort of magic 1200. And there's someone here taking the dog for a walk, I think. So let's scare them. Bit of noise going on here. It's a lot dodgy. I mean, maybe it's gangsters. There we go, got it. Eventually. I should have just shifted down 5 gears, it would have been easier, but there we go. Okay, so we're probably about an hour into this trip, just trundling around from having picked up the cargo. So I've got 124 miles to go, and I've got 27 gallons of fuel left. So I don't need to explain that I'm going to get 5 miles per gallon from the rest of the tank, just to make it air empty. Part of me is thinking, I mean, how hard can it be? It's not that heavy a cargo, and it's a challenge, right, to get there before you run out of fuel. Get there as fast as possible before you run out. So I'm going to try it. I might regret this. Then if I do, oops. Let's go best. Oh yes. Okay. I'm going to move off in my crawler gear because I can, and then I'll get shift on through the gears pretty quickly. Someone comes around the corner behind me. Oh, I should not have skipped a gear there. He kind of stumbled. It pulled out okay, but I shouldn't have done that. Lots of gear changes, but it's going up for the gears readily though. Look at that. Okay. Well, I'm going to plonk my cruise control on 55 and take it through the gears sequentially. Sure, shift a little sooner. I've used 3 gallons until I was told about how much fuel was left. And this is now top gear. They're showing 12 because the first, essentially, gear 1 is C1 or crawl 1, crawler gear 1. I think the gearing, I was a little optimistic on the engine revs, but we're doing well. Not quite 1300 revs, but we're not at 55 yet, so... Wait, we're going up a hill and it's still pulling. Okay. Is, not bad. Got a bit of jank there, but I'm not crashing yet. Oh, got very close there. Yeah, a lot of jank from the game, but okay. It may not come through if I'm recording at 30 frames per second, and actually 55 is about 1400 revs, so I was pretty much spot on. Close enough for government work. Right, well, I mean, so far then, This is just plain sailing. Alright, bring the speed back because I'm going to do 35. Almost did 35 before annoying everyone. Okay. Right, well, I think that is pretty good testimony to drop through the gears. I think we can move off in first. I don't think we need to bother with the crawler. No, we do have the DEF, the diesel exhaust fluid, little tank there, the blue one. We won't be needing that with this engine, I don't think. That was introduced in 2010, and this is a pre-2010 engine. Certified clean idle is probably not applicable here either. Oh, there's lots of things that aren't truly applicable. The M-Drive control box on the dashboard's not applicable. But I'm not going to concern myself with some of these details. I am surprised, though, that no one has brought out a more classic dashboard for the Mack Pinnacle. That said, I'm also surprised I haven't looked as number one, and number two, if there is one, I hadn't heard about it, which possibly doesn't surprise me that much. Because after a time, I kind of get a bit bored of some of the politics to do with modding. That doesn't enjoy my truck, I'd enjoy it. Right, let's ease back on the power. We're going to do this from 1200 revs, but I guess what I'm going to say is whoever designed this engine originally did a really nice job of it, and whoever modeled it, excuse me, in the game, this appears to be how they drive when you watch them on YouTube. I'm not necessarily driving it the same way, but this appears to be how they drive. Kind of effortless to just pull from 1200 to whatever the governor is for the most part. Now, I'm burning a bit of fuel, absolutely. But I got 17 gallons, I mean, how much do you need? We might discover that in a little bit. The cruise back on. Let's just see how far we have to go. So we have 77 miles, and we have 16 gallons, so gonna be fine. No problem there. Right? I mean, I could slow down and cruise at 50 just to help, but I'm gonna try and get up to 55 and hold it if we can. Let's see, I think highlights of my gaming with ATS last year has probably been just testing a lot of the different engines. And I've worked and reworked a number of engines into the engine pack, but I've gone back to some of my favourites, and I think one of my favourites just to drive around is the original ISX, the 15 litre, the EGR version. I call it the ISX DOHC double overhead cam EGR, and that is available at up to 600 horsepower with 1850 foot-pounds of torque. I like that sort of classicness of how that engine performs. It's modernised, but then so is the N14, so you can lug it from sort of 1100 RPM or 1200 RPM up, but it also doesn't mind so much if you drive it a bit like a big cam. You know, you have 1400 revs on it all the time. Not always the most efficient, but it's a 15 litre engine, so what did you expect? It's got a decent engine brake in it, that's an enjoyable part of that engine. Yeah, not the most efficient, but that's okay. I still really enjoy Cummins' later engines, the X15 series. I like those economy challenges in the 15 litre engine. You know, can I brake 8 miles per gallon? Can I brake 9 miles per gallon? Yeah, it's just a geeky thing I like to get up to. I would say who doesn't like doing that, but not everyone does, and that's okay. for something that is innocuous sounding and I would say responsive as opposed to quick, check out the X15 Efficiency 500. 500 horsepower. It pulls extremely hard from just 1,000 revs, 1850 foot-pounds of torque, and if you cruise and don't just hammer it everywhere, your fuel consumption is pretty decent. You may not care about fuel consumption, but you might care about stopping to fill up. And if you can get sort of 6 to the gallon from one of those, as opposed to maybe 4.5 from a performance series, and not be that much slower, maybe you'll think about it. That's a mountain in the distance, and that's most definitely changed. That's my mountain mod, and if I don't forget, which I likely will, put some information about that in the description below. And if I don't, and you want to know more about it, just give me a comment, and I'll apologise profusely, being terribly British about it. Find the link and put it in there. Keeping up to 60. I have 6 gallons left. How far have I got to go? 11 miles. Surely I can do 3 miles per gallon. Surely. Call me Shirley. He says 50 miles of range. I don't believe that for one jiffy. But I think we're going to make it. But just to be safe, we're going to ease off completely here and try and hypermile it to my destination. And then, assuming I make my destination, I'm going to have to hypermile it from there to the local fuel station to get some motion lotion. Yeah, it's a little stuttery now. Oh, this will be easy. Brake here on the way down. Gradient. Downshift through the gears. Go. Really want to annoy everyone in Seattle, so is it Seattle or Red? I think it is. Okay, we're still at 6 gallons, but we pretty much just kept off the power all the way as we pulled into the city. So I think there's fuel to my right somewhere up there. I hope so, because if not, okay, where's the nearest fuel? Okay, it's a bit of a distance. I may take a night stop and call for emergency fueling. It'll give me 15 gallons, but on the other hand, I mean, if I'm a gallon to drop off the cargo, it gives me more than 4 gallons to get to my destination. So how hard can that be? All this time idling. Diesels don't use much fuel idling. It's something that they're kind of known for. Even back in the day, diesels in a passenger car, on a frosty morning, you'd start your diesel engine and you'd wait 45 minutes for it to warm up. That's how it felt. Now, I'm being a little dramatic. They really don't produce that much heat. Then again, these modern 4-cylinder, small capacity turbocharged cars, the only thing that seems to produce heat under the bonnet of those and the hood of those, turbocharged. And that makes sense because you stuff a whole bunch of air into the engine, and you need to compress it, and compressing it adds heat, so talking from personal experience, that's what my own vehicle is. It's one of these small engine, give it a turbo type machines. It's great. So it's the first car I've known that will actually lose coolant temperature when you're idling at stoplights. Now, admittedly, it's when it's on a cold day. And by cold, let me explain. In terms of temperature, -6 Celsius. It's been -6 the last couple of mornings when I've set off to work, or 20 to 22 Fahrenheit, give or take. And that's kind of nippy, let's just say. Not been frosty though, so I'm not having to de-ice the car, which is good, so I can get in and drive off. But it's like, I don't have leather seats, thank goodness, because I think that would be a level of discomfort, let's just say, and they're not heated. At least, not that visit to Taco Bell. Okay, that's where we drop off. I don't really feel like doing the whole faff around maneuver this thing for 30 minutes parking. Plus I haven't got the fuel for that. So, let's see what the easy option is. Maybe it's the difficult one, so I don't mind this difficult. Damn, okay, where do you want it? Nope, not doing that. Far too difficult. That works. We'll do that. Okay, let's bump over here, bump, bump. Tickety boo. Short shifted again, bit of a theme going on here. Round. Well, not that you can really tell, but my game's been performing at sort of close to 60 frames a second. For the most part, I'm not that happy with that. Given the difficult, almost a year I've had, getting 30 frames a second consistently has not been an experience. Hey, look at that. Right, well, I think, yeah, we're actually in the spot, so let's go ahead and do that. I guess we'll turn off the engine. We'll deliver the cargo, and we see what they think to that. Cue the drum roll. Okay, so just 150 miles. I burnt a bit of fuel, about 27 gallons. So I sound like King Charles used to years and years ago when he was still a prince. 5.5-ish to the gallon, I think. Less than 6. So I would say not wonderful, but it's a vocational truck. What did I expect? I did not expect to be getting like the 7 to 8 that you might free from a line haul specialist. So, yeah, today's video was a case of what if we installed an E7 into the Mack Pinnacle, and the answer to that question is, we would rather like it, don't you know? Hope you got something from today's video. Hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can like and subscribe if you like. Apparently it helps the video. That's cool by me. I don't require you to. You can dislike it if you thought it sucked. It's useful if you tell me why. But if you insult me, I'll probably insult you and your mum back. Thanks so much for hanging out, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I'll catch up with you soon.